So I am so glad to be here with two of our other presidents. Our third president is under the weather today, so she will not be joining us for this president's message. But as my last president's message, as the current president of Anaxle, I wanted to share the limelight with the incoming president, the incoming president-elect, the outgoing president, and the current president who cannot be here with us today. So we thought we would talk about our most memorable Anaxle conferences, and perhaps you were there for some of them too. So I'd like to turn it over to Janet to talk about her most memorable conference.
Well, Susie, I was thinking I probably have only missed one conference since about, 2011 or 2012. And they've all been great. But I think the one that really is the one that I felt, the proudest of, I guess, is that that last one that we had in person at Phoenix. And it was one of the largest conferences we'd had. I was in Desiree's position at that time. I was the incoming president-elect. So everything was very exciting and new for me. And of course, now we've had a couple of years. You can see the virtual conference background we've had a couple of years of virtual conferences. So I'm really looking forward to this upcoming one so that we can all see each other in person again, just like we did in Phoenix.
Is that not true? Oh my gosh, it gets so old to be Zooming all the time. It really does. It really does. So Des, what is your most memorable conference?
I have to say, 2010 Las Vegas. If you've seen any of our social media posts, I've been doing hashtag Inaxle everywhere, and I love to karaoke. So we met at this dueling piano bar somewhere, and I'm a horrible singer, just so you know. It's not that I sing well, but I have this inner Shania Twain that just comes out. And we were there only to realize that, I was projected out on the Jumbotrons onto the street. Now, how does that pair with the conference? Because I miss my sim people. It is just nice to get together. We're not in the semester ramping up for the start of a semester or even industry and vacation. It's just, I feel like I'm with my people and just ready to have fun. I mean, there's a past president, Teresa Gore, taught me how to wobble. It's just that camaraderie that I miss and remember the most back in Vegas.
So true. My most memorable one, weirdly enough, was one of the most disastrous Anaxles, and that was at it was a Disney
Swan and Dolphin. Yeah.
The Swan and Dolphin Hotel, as our son would have said at that point in time. The air conditioning went out at one of the major hotels, and everybody had to basically pack up and move to whatever rooms were available in another hotel, or they moved them to lesser hotels in the surrounding area that had agreements with Disney World. And we were trying to have this great conference in this sweltering heat of June in Disney World. And after that part was over, it was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. But it was just one of those, you cannot be serious. We're at Disney World. How does this happen at Disney World? And I wasn't one of the people who had to move, thank goodness, or maybe I wouldn't remember it so fondly. But I remember people just being of good cheer and packing up and going because they were nurses and they're used to stuff happening. So they did it. So I remember that. What else should we be talking about? What else do we want to talk about? Anything else that we remember about conferences, or that we want to tell people about conference tips to get the most out of this conference?
Yeah. So Susie, I don't know if you're ready to talk about this yet, but we have something kind of new and exciting that we're going to be doing at this conference with a friend of ours, a friend of Anaxle's, Lance Bailey.
True.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. For those of us who attended IMSH in January in Los Angeles, IMSH had done a thing called the Press Box. And Lance had basically a whole, looked like a press box, it looked like a radio station set up. And he was, had a whole list of characters that he was interviewing there. Several Anaxel luminaries were interviewed at this press box. We liked it so much, we asked Lance to do the same thing for us. They have trademarked press box at IMSH. We will call it something else, but we're going to have that. And we're going to be doing it in a theater-like setting, and interspersed with Lance doing his only Lance can do it kind of thing. And if you guys know Lance, you know what I'm talking about. If you have never met Lance, you most assuredly will. And he is a very unforgettable character. We all laugh when we say that because we all know what we're talking about here. And we're going to be talking about and highlighting, and we'll have it for keeps forever. Our Hayden Vanguard speaker, Dr. Shelby Gardner, is going to be interviewed by Lance, which is awesome. We're going to have our membership people, Sabrina Baraz and Jennifer Alderman, there and being interviewed by Lance, and Penny Watts, of course, talking about the standards. And Teresa Agor is going to be talking about our endorsement program. And we're going to be talking about some XR VR people. Lance is going to corral people that he knows that are using it in different interesting ways. That might be you, Desiree, in some way.
Yeah.
And so we look forward to that as a new and unusual thing that we're doing, something new that we think we'll probably be adding every time to the conference in the future, and something for us all to look forward to.
And I think they're going to be demonstrating some products too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there'll be an opportunity to really like get in there and see how it works.
That's right.
And I think that's part of it, where we should tell you all, don't be afraid to go up and talk to people. If you see someone in that theater that's being interviewed and you see them the next day, feel free. The majority of people at the conference are approachable, want you to approach them. Just try not to do it with, after they've taken a bite of food or something. Give them a minute. But
even that happens a lot. But yeah, I would say that if you're new to sim people are some of the most sharing, approachable, kind people in the simulation world. In the research world, in the practitioner world, because we're all basically building the science of simulation from the ground up. And we've had to be kind to each other. We've had to share products. We've had to do all of those kinds of things. So I agree 100%, Desi, do not be afraid to approach us and visit with you. And don't be afraid to talk to strangers, because we were all strangers once.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of strangers, you'll meet some people that you know, and maybe some people you don't know, but try to go to the poster session, because there will be a lot of people there, and you can get some of the best ideas that you can take back to your own shop just from looking at posters and talking to people about, the different projects that they're presenting on those posters. It's a way to get a lot of value out of a single session.
True.
I think.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think too, it's great to collaborate on that. Use your cell phone, take a picture of the poster, share it on social media, but most important, share it with your colleagues back home that weren't able to attend. It's great engagement.
True. I have to say that of the probably 2,000 pictures on my phone, half of them are probably posters from conferences. And I just, you're a geek when you have, that's most of what you have. And that and my dog. Yeah. So it's just one of those kind of things. So what would we say in closing? Janet, you want to start us off?
Yeah. So, I think what I want to say is I'm really looking forward to seeing you when we get to the conference. And if you are one of the people who is attending the virtual conference this year, we're looking forward to hearing from you as well. We may not be able to see you in person, but we really want to hear from you and hear what's going on in your part of the world and what it is that you're doing. This is an international organization. And so there may be people who can't attend in person this year, for a variety of reasons, but that doesn't mean that we want you to feel excluded. We want you to feel included in this organization.
Absolutely. Des, what do you want to say to our Enaxle listeners?
Don't be afraid to get engaged. Find out how to be involved. We have a booth. It's manned 24/7 every time the conference area, the exhibit hall is open. So stop by. If you're really good, I don't know, in graphics or something, ask. There's a place for you. We need everyone to be a successful organization. And we look forward to that. And I look forward to seeing you all there as well. I'm just very excited.
Me too. So I will close us out by saying, thank goodness COVID is on the wane. Thank goodness we get to be together in Milwaukee. And the Milwaukee House Group, or the Wisconsin House Group, has put together a lot of activities for you to look at and participate in after hours, after the conference is over for the day. So there is lots of stuff to do, including a riverboat tour. There's a fun run. There's all kinds of stuff. So please take a look at that and reach out to us and say hi, because we'll be looking to you and say hi when we get there. So thank you very much for listening to this combined President's Message. Thanks a lot. Good night.